Mac and the Hammer, Carl McCalop and Ross Scott. And before we get the fighter introductions, let's meet these two super heavyweights. Carl Big Mac McCalop star began to shine on November 20th as he took a big chance and got in the ring with Bad Brad Hefton on 1 hour's notice. McCalop, who's been the sparring partner of Jerry Rome and Evander Holyfield, felt like he didn't have anything to lose. 9 rounds later, Bad Brad was named winner, but Carl McCalop had gained a lot of respect from everyone at ringside.
Boy, did he ever. We got letters, telephone calls, even Anthony Elmore called, and got quite a response from it. I think he's gained quite a bit of respect.
Tonight, former world heavyweight champion Ross Scott, who retired from the ring in 1983, steps back into action against McCalop to see if he's still got it. This is a pivotal fight for both men. They're both in must-win situations. Will Ross Scott survive a Big Mac attack?
I will hammer to the Big Mac attack.
Carl McCalop and Ross Scott. Let's meet them. Let's go to our ring announcer, Dave Dicer.
Ladies and gentlemen, our main event of the evening is a 7-round bout in the super heavyweight division. Brought to you by Trippers Nightclub, Warner Cable, and Don Willis Martial Arts Center. Introducing first in the red corner, from Warsaw, North Carolina, now fighting out of Atlanta, Georgia. He is 29 years old, stands 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighs in at 235 pounds. His American kickboxing record is 10 wins, 2 losses, no draws, 3 wins by knockout. He is rated number 7 in the world by the Professional Karate Commission. Working in his corner is PKC World Heavyweight Champ Terry Rome. Welcome, please, Carl Big Mac McCalop. And in the blue corner, from Muncie, Indiana, he is 35 years of age, 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighing in at 212 pounds. His contact karate record, 22 wins, 4 losses and no draws, 18 of those wins by knockout. The former heavyweight champion of the world. Welcome, please, Ross the Hammer Scott. The referee for this bout is Truman Irving. Our scoring judges are Mike Sherman, Carol Willis, and Brian Lentz. Our kick judges are Glenn Willis and David Counts. Our PKC supervisor, Glenn Keeney.
Fighters. Gentlemen, this is a professional contest. I expect you to conduct yourself as professionals throughout. There's absolutely no holding allowed. Believe me, if you hold more than twice, you'll be penalized. I'll give you only 2 warnings. I expect you to obey my verbal commands. I expect you to break on command. Go to your corners and back ready to begin the contest. Good luck and good health.
Truman Irving, our referee, 3rd man in the ring. Boy, I'd like to start a linebacking corps with these two, Boomer.
Hey, Brad, I was just looking at Ross. Want to show him a close-up. Did you see his eyes? Do you think he's ready to kind of fight for 3 years? Watch this.
He's been in a few fights, no doubt about it. Carl Big Mac McCalop on your left. Ross Scott, former heavyweight champion, on the right. And we're underway, round 1, scheduled for 7. Super heavyweights. Big Mac at 235 and Ross Scott at 212. And Scott goes down.
Big Mac missed with that right hand, came back and just kind of shoved Scott off to the right. You saw the power from Big Mac being able to shove a man down 212 pounds like that.
the confidence that Big Mac generated, as Boomer talked about after his good showing against Brad Hefton, the confidence he's had since then has just really made his what am I trying to say, Boomer? His enthusiasm, his intensity skyrocket.
Oh, yeah, I was talking before the fight tonight. You know, we shook hands with him and things like that. And he was telling me to say that, you know, he trains in Atlanta. But you know that he was born in Warsaw, North Carolina. Big Mac.
Big Mac stepping inside those kicks of Ross Scott, nailing him with the right hand, doubling up on the right hand at times.
Those folks back in Warsaw, realizing that Big Mac's moving his way up the ladder, want to be recognized that he's their own. And he started pretty well here in round one. Ross Scott's been away from it for a while and missed badly with a wild left hook, and McCalop takes advantage of that, comes back with a good combination and a back fist.
McCalop is relaxed. Jerry Rome pointed out earlier today that Big Mac, as big as he is very flexible at the waist. He can lean back and stay out of the way of punches. It really surprises you how flexible he is in the lower back.
The area around Ross Scott's eyes already reddened by some of the punches that Carl Big Mac McCalop has thrown here in round one.
Well, I have to say that Ross, so, you know,
is cornered, and we're underway in round two. Big Mac facing you. There comes some of those 235-pound punches in your direction. Doubles up with a right hand.
I think that Iris has got a Ross Scott has got a little cut, I think, Brad, under the left eye.
I believe you're right, Boom Boom, and Scott just got his best punch of the fight off. A left hook that caught Carl McCalop. There's a little blood on the face of Ross Scott.
It's been there before.
I think there's a little scar tissue worked up on that face.
Oh, no kidding. He fought before 7,000 there in Anderson, Indiana, when he fought DeQuay Bazemore back in 1980, the same day that Bill Wallace fought his retirement bout. And Ross had just gotten his teeth capped, had all the new caps knocked off that day, and just acted like it didn't faze him.
A couple of big, tough customers here. Round two, scheduled for 7. Carl McCalop looking for his 11th win. Ross Scott, the veteran at age 35, has been in a lot of these type of battles.
Ross has such power in that left hand. Sometimes it'll come out of nowhere and just drop you. I don't think he's ever had to throw it against somebody who's got that kind of neck like McCalop's got. He can take a heck of a shot, but Scott could stop him if he nailed him with that left hand.
There's a good right hand again. That backs Scott up, and McCalop comes back with another one. Ross Scott in a little trouble on the ropes, but he fights his way back. And we're down to the waning moments as we come to a close of round two.
Fishing. An important announcement.
Joe, what do you think after 2 rounds?
I think we see the Ross Scott of old taking the punishment, and then when he gets the opportunity, he'll land the blow. If he doesn't get that opportunity against Big Mac, he's going to lose this fight, and he's going to lose it just like this. Ross just cannot get the ring rust out after 3 years out of the ring. Just can't get it back as fast as he's going to need to. It doesn't look like, unless he lucks up and lands a solid shot.
There's that good overhand right by McCalop that set up a pretty good combination, including a back fist there. 2 rounds complete. And Ross Scott up quickly to start round 3. You see Jerry Rome in the corner of your screen patting the back of Carl McCalop. It can't hurt too much when you get to work out with a heavyweight champion of the world either.
Jerry Rome is having mixed emotions in the corner. Said he would all day. He wanted Ross Scott to win this fight so that he could rematch with Ross Scott and have a 10-year anniversary match. Paybacks are hell, I think is the way he said it. But at the same time, he didn't want to see his own stablemate lose. So mixed emotions from Jerry Rome.
I agree with you, Joe. I don't blame Jerry to say that, because I'm sure he wants to have a fight with Ross Scott.
McCalop with a pretty good short right hand in that exchange. And quite a welt growing under the left eye of Ross Scott now. And again, McCalop connects in that same area.
That's a warning for holding him, man.
A warning for holding. Goes against Carl McCalop.
You see Big Mac leaning back at the waist, as we talked about earlier, just out of range of Scott's blows.
Good round kick by Scott, missed with that one.
Moving very subtly, leaning back. Scott's jab falling short. Right hand falling short.
There's the good left-right combo again, but Scott answers with a good left.
That was that left hook of Ross Scott that we talked about. You saw it straighten Big Mac up.
McCalop may be a little bit wobbly here.
Yeah, I have to say yes. He caught him with a good left hook.
15 seconds to go in round 3, and both these super heavies really loading up with some big punches.
I wonder what the odds are of us seeing another double knockout like we saw last month.
I doubt we'll ever see that again. And boy, when you're this big, Ross Scott's happy he was in his own corner when the round came to a close. Boomer, Carl McCalop took about 10 seconds to get over to his corner.
Brad, I have to say yes, because I think that, Ross, for 3 years without fighting, he looks a little tired to me. I mean, as a matter of fact, that here we're going to see the big right hand. There it is, right in the eyes of
solid right hand that is thrown, but it kind of glanced. The best punch in that round may have been, you see that right, I don't know if the same right hand, it kind of slides off to the right. Scott's left hook, look, his eyes are strong. The left hook knocks Big Mac back. Best punch in the fight so far for Ross Scott's been that left hook.
Asa Gordon also working in the corner of the man they call Big Mac. And boy, he is big. In better shape than we saw him against Hefton a couple of months ago. He's trained hard, and it shows. But he's already a little bit tired against former heavyweight champion Ross Scott.
Well, Brad, both fighters are breathing very hard.
This is the 4th round scheduled for 7. So we're about at the midway point right now.
Never really seen Scott give anybody in an actual fight this kind of respect. But you saw that right hand of Big Mac's land, how powerful that was. Scott just kind of shook it off.
That's what's almost unbelievable. Some of the shots he's taken, and he's still coming forward. McCalop tired as he moves to his right. It's tagged in close from a right hand from Ross Scott. There McCallop's trying to jab, which is what his corner encouraged him to do in between rounds.
Scott is being much more selective with his blows now, picking his shots much better.
Yeah, he's taking more his time now than before. Before he was rushing the thing.
McCalop looks a little more confused. As well he would be. He's confused on the ropes right now. Scott's got him there and got him pinned. Spinning back fist over the top of Ross Scott's head. There's another good right hand. Good combination. A right hand, a back fist, and then a left.
Go get it! Go get it, Matt! Go get it!
Less than 30 seconds to go round 4. Ross Scott's looked better. Carl McCalop looks tired.
Remember, the PKC rules do not permit holding. McCalop has been warned once for holding. You get 2 warnings and points start being taken away. Neither guy is backing off or slacking off on the speed or the pace of the fight thus far.
There's an uppercut. Got a piece of Ross Scott with that one. There's an overhand right that also connected. But Ross Scott may have rebounded in that round and scored as well as we've seen him score throughout. 4 rounds, and Ross Scott in his corner has been there before. He knows how to rally. He's taken some tremendous shots from Carl McCalop, and now McCalop, Boomer, has reached the point where he's getting a little arm weary.
McCalop was tired. Like I said before, we're going to see the replay right there. You see, Scott is taking his time now, like Joe explained it before. Before he was rushing. I don't know if he was nervous or not. You know, after 3 years, you can't come back like that. Right. You don't have the same win. You know, it takes maybe 2-3 rounds before you get your second win back. Maybe we're going to see a better round of him on this fifth one.
Big Mac is making mistakes now that he should not be making.
And where Scott had a dazed look in the early rounds, he is really anxious now. Truman Irving, a referee, has to hold him back as we start round 5. So Scott's confidence growing, and Carl McCallop's maybe waning a bit. Good round kick, a couple, in fact, from Ross Scott.
Scott throws those back leg kicks very, very powerfully.
Close to being right on the button. McCalop backed his head up just in time. McCalop having more difficulty getting that right hand in now. He's trying to set it up with that left jab, and he's not throwing it with enough frequency to keep his corner people happy.
Right, I think that Scott is protecting himself more his face than before. The first 2-3 rounds, his hand and his arm went down, but now, if you remark, he kicks and he puts right back his two right in front of his face.
Round 5, 235-pound Carl Big Mac McCalop, and the hammer Ross Scott at age 35. Been away from it for 3 years, and finally now, just in the last 2 rounds, the rust seems to have fallen a bit. He looks a little sharper.
Oh, he's got a bad cut on his left eyes, just above the brows, with a real bad one.
You may have to have a look at that between rounds, as Scott now backs McCalop up into his corner. Big Mac comes out with a left, right, and all the way across the ring. There's a big overhand right.
Looks like they collided heads there right after that last right hand.
Let's go.
That was a warning that time. Truman Irving says a point next time. There's another big right. And Scott may be hurt now right in front of us in the neutral corner. And the bell sounds to end the round. Truman Irving may have taken a point away from Carl McCallop, I think he did. To try to get official word right at the end of the round. He went to the judges. So we've been through 5 rounds. 3 or less to go, and here's some of the action from round 5.
Scott's having a hard time getting a clean shot on McCalop. So McCalop is winding around at the waist, and he comes across the ring, stepping almost like you would in point karate with what's known as dash punches. Something you would never see in boxing from that kind of distance.
Yeah, but Joe, I think that here it is again. I think, Joe, that if Ross Scott will have his timing, I think that Big Mac McCalop will have a tough time.
Scott has thrown 78 kicks.
Go.
And we're into round 6. I'm still not positive on whether or not a point was deducted from McCalop for the headbutt. He was warned once by Truman Irving, and I think Truman took a point away at the end of the round. Scott going to work in the corner. McCalop trying to kick his way out. McCalop tired, and his balance, everything is off right now. Joe, he's been away 3 years, and Ross Scott hasn't changed a bit, has he?
Really hasn't. He's trying. You can see him trying with more finesse, but it's really hard. Very, very difficult to do that. To change after being out of the ring for 3 years.
McCalop, a little rope-a-dope, and that's not going to score heavily with the judges. I'll tell you that much.
Not sure why Scott would let him out on a situation like that. It must be just to get an extra breather.
I don't understand. I think he had him going, and all of a sudden you let him coming back. And I think that he's really tired.
There's a good uppercut from McCalop, but it almost looked like a lucky punch. Now he brings Ross Scott right back across the ring again. You see the blood trickling from under the left eye of Ross Scott.
Truman Irving warning McCalop for the head, getting that head down, a little off balance. He leads in there with his head afterwards.
McCalop has totally dropped his guard. You see his hands at his sides. That could cost him too. Scott still has his guard at least higher, although he's been tagged throughout the fight as well. 20 seconds to go, round 6.
Couple years ago,
pawing now, Joe.
A couple years ago, John Jackson and Tex Cobb fought at this weight. People don't really understand how much energy it takes to be firing kicks at this weight.
Ross Scott in his corner at the end of 6 rounds has fought back admirably as the blood trickles under that left eye. Some of the action from round 6 we'll have for you in a moment.
Big Mac landing with a solid uppercut in that round. Probably his best punch in that round. Big Mac a little off balance a lot of the time. Scott is kicking more. He's kicked it 92 times thus far. McCalop has kicked only 56 times thus far. But McCalop has been the more effective fighter on my scorecard. I've got him ahead by 2.5 points now at the end of 6 rounds.
I want to give credit to Ross Scott. After 3 years coming back like this, the guy really looks tired, but he's a tough cookie, like I said before. And I honestly believe that this fight is not over yet.
2 minutes or less to go. 7th and final round. And both corners told their fighters that they had to be very active in order to win the fight. And I think Asa Gordon and Jerry Rome in Carl McCallop's corner may be more concerned at this stage than Ross Scott's corner people are.
Kick hard, Mac! Kick hard!
Big Mac having trouble getting his legs up to throw effective kicks. Scott still a lot of stamina, energy left. As Boomer said, a lot of credit has to go to Scott for coming back and getting into this kind of condition to be able to fight 7 rounds out of the chute first time.
Ross Scott on his toes, moving to his left. And just in the course of about 15 minutes, he has really come to life and gotten rid of 3 years of inactivity in a hurry. Now they start to mix it up, knowing that this fight's almost over. McCalop trying to bring back some extra energy from somewhere.
That Scott hook didn't quite land it on the button.
There's a good right hand by McCalop, but he didn't follow it with anything, and Ross Scott comes back with a good combination. Now McCalop on the attack again. Scott pushes him off and comes in with a front kick. Tries to pin McCalop on the ropes and does, right in front of us. Again, the overhand right connects. McCalop is tired, hands are at his sides. But he throws another good right hand.
Big Mac right now is swinging very wide.
I don't even know if McCallop's going to get his final kick in. I think he needs one more. Throws a big left hook. Final seconds. And there's the bell to end it. Couple of big guys. McCalop 235, Ross Scott 212. And this one is definitely a question right now. Jerry Rome, the heavyweight champion of the world, working in McCallop's corner, lifts the Big Mac aloft, and that alone takes a little energy. 235 pounds you have to lift off the canvas, but Carl McCalop is dead tired, and Ross Scott with cuts under both eyes. There's the weathered look of a grizzled veteran. He's been in some fights, Boomer.
Oh, boy, I tell you, he looks beat. He looks beat.
Boomer, is that what you call staying in the traffic?
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Whoa.
See, I wouldn't sign any of my players if he doesn't stay in the traffic.
Well, you don't have to worry about Ross Scott there.
Well, he proved it to me, Brad, and I don't care what anybody say. Here's some of the replays. Here it is. Scott was trying very hard, but I don't think he had no more energy.
He threw 107 kicks total in 7 rounds.
That's just
More than
tremendous.
15 kicks around from a 212-pounder in the super heavyweight division.
There's how tired Carl McCalop is. He's still on his knees and just getting up in his corner now. So we are about to find out who won it. Is it the man that goes in the traffic? That face looks like he's been in a couple of 8-lane highways. Ross Scott and Carl McCalop. And we'll find out the decision and who won this 7-round super heavyweight bout when we come back with the official decision after this word. There's a tired Big Mac McCalop, who went 7 rounds with the former heavyweight champion Ross Scott, who is coming back after a long layoff. McCalop thinks he won it, but he knows that he's been in a fight, and I don't think anybody has to tell Ross Scott that he has, because he's got cuts under both eyes, but both fighters anxious to find out who won it. And we're just about set to find out ourselves. They're still compiling the judges' card, and we'll have the final decision coming up very shortly. Carl McCalop coming into this one 10-2 with 3 wins by knockout. And Ross Scott has been around a long time, having won 18 fights by knockout. He's suffered only 4 losses. He's 35 years old. And let's see what the final decision is on this one. Dave Dysert's our ring announcer. Dave?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a unanimous decision. Judge Sherman scores this fight 68.5 to 66.5. Judge Willis scores this fight 69-67. Judge Lentz scores this fight 69.5 to 68.5. The winner in the super heavyweight division by a unanimous decision, Ross the Hammer Scott!
Well, some things you never forget, even when you've been in a long layoff of 3 years, and that's how to fight. Ross Scott knows how to fight, and he just beat Carl McCalop by unanimous decision. McCalop, I think, a little bit disturbed with that decision. But we're going to bring Ross Scott over, and he'll talk to Joe Corley about this victory. And now he's heading back to his corner, and we'll go up to Joe. I think Ross needs a little breather, a little water.
Ross Scott said he needed a little drink of water. He's joining us here in just a second. The Hammer, Ross, you came out first few rounds, looked like you had to get the rust off, and as you got the rust off, you got the gloves on you, I think, more than you wanted to.
Real sharp fighter. I've studied a couple of these films. He sure is a lot faster in the ring than watched him, obviously, outside of the ring. And you're right, Joe, I've not fought since '83, and I'm real rusty. I wanted to do a couple smaller round tune-up fights. This is all I could get, so I took what I could get, and I
you had said earlier that you didn't really think, strategically speaking, this was the way to come out. You want to come out with a 3-rounder.
I consider Big Mac to be a fine top contender. And after a 4-year layoff, I wasn't really ready to face a top contender right off the bat out of the gym. But as the way things go, this is what came with it. And so I tried, obviously, my best. And I wasn't really pleased, Joe, but I've got a way to go.
Well, yeah, you've never been pleased at the end of your fights because you always felt like you took too much punishment.
And I did again tonight, I feel.
Of course you did, but it seemed like you started picking your shots better after the first 3 or 4 rounds.
Well, I've been sparring more rounds in the gym, and I've been working with some more just regular pugilists or boxers, of course. And I've had to deal with lighter weights and heavy weights. So you got to take care of them a little bit more in the gym. So my pace was a little slower, I think.
I understand you've got a movie part that you've been talking about coming up. Tell us about that.
Well, it's with Intermark Films, and it's still kind of undercover. Through Intermark Films, Michael Layton and Jim Albury in Los Angeles, California, and I'm looking forward to hearing from him.
Terrific. Well, Ross Scott, Brad, coming back very convincing in his determination. Still taking more punches than he would like to, but I think maybe a Jerry Rome...
Any punches are too many, Joe.
I hear what he's saying. A Jerry Rome-Ross Scott fight, a 10-year anniversary one, might be a great one to look forward to later in the year.
All right, Joe. Thank you very much. Ross Scott, the winner, and if he's going to be in the movies, Boomer, he's going to need a good makeup man with what he just went through, but he did win the fight, and that's what's important.
You know, brother.
And we'll come back and have more from Akron, Ohio right after these words.